The earlier a second language is introduced in school programs, the greater the likelihood of success in learning. What do you think? Agree? Disagree?
Right in the middle.
You can partially agree.
Yeah.
Partially agree. Partially. Okay? Disagree? Why? Can somebody share?
On the why, partially agree?
Yes.
Because I have known kids that have learned English since they were babies in kindergarten, and they still cannot produce. Lack of practice, lack of interest, lack of a lot of things. So no, not necessarily. That applies to all the kids.
All right. Okay, guys, well, let's go on so we can take advantage of time. What's going on here according to the rules? It says, well, it depends on the objective of language program. Okay, guys, what is this? Well, guys, it depends. Guys. If your objective is to acquire this native-like performance, in that case, it's free. Yes, of course, it is important that the sooner the better, right? And you will get, as we said, this American accent, and you will be good at communicating, etc. But if your objective is getting the native-like proficiency, in that case, this is no. I'm going to explain this because I know it's kind of controversial, okay? Listen, I don't know guys if you feel identified, but sometimes when we speak English and we survive, we talk to people in the States and we get familiar and we can talk to peers, it's very, very nice. But when somebody asks you to write something, it's different. I don't know guys, have you ever written an essay or thesis in English? A thesis in English. Yes? Have you done that? Yes? Is it easy?
No. Well,
No.
for me, it's pretty easy to write down because the computer fixes all my grammar mistakes.
Oh, yes, of course.
But if I had to write it like handwritten, then no.
Yes.
Like, I mean, I'm good, but just
Yes.
grammar good.
That's right. Because we're talking about other kind of English guys. Maybe we are pretty good at talking, we're very good at communicating, but we are not pretty good at academic subjects because they require other kind of skills, critical thinking skills and higher order skills that sometimes we haven't developed. They are different. Okay. So what happens here? Native language proficiency. When you ask a student and you push to learn a second language, and it's a little kid.
Okay.
This little kid is going to, believe it or not, stop learning the skills for the first language. So maybe he's going to start now focusing on the second language, and he's going to forget about or not focus on the first language skill. That is also very important. That's what happens in bilingual schools. They focus a lot in English. They push students to speak English. But whenever they have to write something in Spanish, something academic in Spanish, they have a lot of problems. Even though they are in high school, or they are junior high school, or they even at university level. Because they stop that because they want to, the parents ask them, push them to speak another language. That's why, according to research, it says that it's good to ask or to make students learn English when they are teenagers. So once they have developed their first language skills, and then you can start teaching or you can start learning a second language when you are a teenager. You see, and everything is complete.
Well, that theory is actually from Dr. Cummings, and he specializes in language acquisition theories. And what he was saying is that there's two types of language acquisition, which is BICS and CUPS. And BICS, you take 1 to 2 years, which is the communication skills that you need, and then the academic skills or the CUPS that takes 5 to 7 years to acquire. But that means being exposed to the academic language.
Exactly. That's the thing here, guys. Kim Cummings also a group. We have to learn Kim Cummings. Yes, I love Kim Cummings. It's one of my favorite. Yeah, guys. So that's be careful. Be careful with this thing of bilingualism. Here in Mexico, we are not so affected, but in the States, poor kids, the ones that are in the States. In that case, that is a real problem, bilingualism, because here in Monterrey, being bilingual is pretty good because we speak two languages. I can work in that performance. Yes. So very nice. Speak I mean, both two languages in the States, oh, it's not as good because that means that you are a foreigner, you are a Mexican. And, oh my God, this is a problem.
But even here, if you talk to people in Spanish or who are bilingual, they can't even write an essay in Spanish.
An essay in Spanish.
Or they can't write an email correctly.
That's the thing. So, here guys, be careful. Be careful with this. Need to take
Term bilingual very loosely. They're not really bilingual.
If they are here, as I was talking
You
to
would say because you
here.
can able to speak Spanish or English, you're bilingual, which is not correct. You might be proficient in one language, you might be native in another one, but it's not the same thing.
It's not gonna be
It
at
may
the
have an
same
advanced level. But bilingual is one of those, I can't remember which one, but you have to have a certain level which pairs. So the reason why they ask you not to introduce a secondary language until the first one's already based or done properly. Because otherwise you're gonna create other problems from the root language.
Exactly.
And it's gonna create, the learning actually difficult, to be kind of productive in other words.
Yes.
That's the reason.
Very interesting. Very interesting. And sometimes we think, now the little kids, English and Spanish and everything.
All right, just because you know how like you
Careful.
introduce, especially here, that there's a lot of push, like you said, for learning and introducing the language very on. Then the kids have a tendency, a majority of the people here do not have an accent or a noticeable accent, and therefore they think, oh, you have like a native level. And absolutely correct. It's just the reason you don't have an accent, which you can actually polish, as actors often do, to remove your accent and so forth, which just has something completely different, which is what says, what is the objective? Are you trying to be a native, sound like a native, or are you trying to be proficient
Or you want
in
to.
languages? Which is absolutely what you're, what you
Your-
accomplish.
Your objective.
Of course.
And I had a student, and I think that's the one that you were asking at the beginning.
Yes.
He lived in the States most of his life for a lot of years. He comes to Mexico for whatever reason. He studied English and they put him on a 7 level. And he disagreed with it. He thought that he would be on a higher level. But the truth is that the English he learned, I call him cholism. He speaks like a cholo. And he swears that he learned his English with white people. You know, he's like very proud. I work in construction with white people, so my English is white. And I was like, sorry to tell you, hon, but it is not. You know, and I said he could not get a job at Teleperformance because even though he has a lot of English, he cannot write in English because he learned it earwise. So grammatically speaking, he doesn't have any English. You know, spoken wise, yes. And here comes one of the things that happens in Mexico a lot. The kids and the people who ask for a job or ask for a scholarship or want to go to a school, you cannot just say, I do speak English. You have to prove it. And you have to pass a test. And that test is very grammatical, you know? And if they don't have that, then they're not going to pass it, even if they took or they spoke English during many years. And what happened to this guy was just that, you know, his English is difficult for him, even though he speaks the language.
Yeah, one thing is speaking, one thing is writing. It's completely different. We speak, anyone can speak. Go to street, go to States, anybody can speak English. Write something correctly, a resume, properly. Yes, that's a big deal. And you want to have a job because of your writing skills sometimes. Yeah. So here, guys, be careful here, English teachers. Writing, unfortunately, is one of the neglected skills. Sometimes we tend to focus only on speaking, listening, and the talking skills. We forget about writing. And writing is the basis, is everything. That's what's happening with this student. Okay. Well, guys, let's go to the next one. Here. Okay, so here we have it. Most of the mistakes that second language learners make are due to the interference from the first language. So here, do you agree with, sorry, it's my arm. So let me know that you grab all the finish. So, agree, disagree? Agree. What about the common mistake of, I am agree?
I am agreeing with that.
Yes? I am agree, teacher, I am agree.
I have
thought you were
20 years
Daniel.
old. That is like the worst. And they can be in level 12 or advanced or whatever, and they still go like, I have 25 years old. And I was like, oh God.
Yeah,
Please don't do it.
Language one barrier is a problem, but it's not all the problem. It depends on the student. Language one barrier can interfere to certain degrees, like I'm agreed and do that thingy. But it's not all these things at all.
It's not
Bad
everything.
habits can also, I say bad habits.
Okay, so answer is because of time constraints.
I agree.
Yeah. Okay. Well, this is what happened. What's your name? Albert. Well, I do agree with Albert. Yes. Of course, this interference with the first, second language, of course, it has some influence in the mistakes that we have, but it's not everything. It's not everything because of we speak Spanish, so that's why I say I have. No, because it's been proved by research that all kind of students, they go through the same kind of mistakes, more or less. And precisely, something that we need to understand in this 21st century teaching is that no one language helps to learn another language. So when we say forget about Spanish and think in English, it's like, teacher, it's very difficult. How do you want me, how can I only think in English if everything is in Spanish? No, there are things that help us. There are like cousin languages. Probably there are some structures that if I understand that in Spanish, I can understand that in English. So it's not as bad, right? So give that a try. Now, here guys, we have, this is the same one. The best way to learn vocabulary is through reading. Agree, disagree?
Disagree.
Disagree. Perfect. The
Disagree.
best way to learn vocabulary.
One way.
One way.
Pictures also words. Yes. Okay, guys. Remember, don't kill me. I feel like you're gonna kill me. Yes, but it's not what I said. It's the experts, right?
Through context also.
Through context. Oh, I'm gonna talk about context. This is something very good. I have to keep that in mind. This is absolutely true. True, guys. The best way to get vocabulary is through reading. I was talking to somebody here at the beginning of the workshop, I don't remember you, and somebody said, teacher, it's because students don't like reading. They don't like reading, not reading anymore, and they find it very boring. And you ask teachers, say, it's very boring, I'm not gonna ask them to read for students. No, big mistake. No, reading is very important. You read, you get vocabulary. You get, what else? Help. You get the cognitive academic language proficiency in on the bits. That is why we got this help in Spanish, because in this our school years we were exposed a lot of reading, geography, biology, etc. in Spanish. You see? So why not do more or less the same in English to help and motivate students to read? But it's not the whole story. Okay, teacher, you told me to ask students to read a book for tomorrow. Good vocabulary. No, it's not as simple as that. What happened here is that there's a problem with the words. Teacher, sorry, what's your name? Araceli. Araceli says something about the context. How many of you guys ask your students? How many of you ask your students to guess the meaning by context? Honestly, there's a reading, and you said, teacher, excuse me, what does pollution mean by context?
With advanced students,
With
I
advanced.
that, yes.
Yes.
When they ask for a word, I always ask them, where did you see that?
Yes.
It depends.
It depends on the context,
Yes.
right? Very good. Well, guys, this is the thing that I want to tell you that is very useful. A student can understand a word by context. If the student doesn't know at least 90% of all the words from the reading. So if it's a new reading, a challenging reading, and the student asks for a vocabulary, you say, by context, probably he's gonna get something wrong because he doesn't know the whole vocabulary. So here, guys, we need to know, and they need to know 90% of all the words in order to be able to guess by context. So here comes our strategies as teachers to teach vocabulary, to use dictionary, to provide, of course, pictures, etc. Right? Here, guys, we have this about pronunciation. Is it essential learners to be able to pronounce all individual sounds in second language learning?
I think this is important than
For speaking? Important but not essential.
next chart.
Yeah. Well, guys, this is what happened here. What is important, according to researching, is reproduce phrasings and stress parents. It's not as important to say exactly the sound. The term mean. No, I mean, of course it is important. Yes, if you know that, it will give you a very big advantage. But here, guys, they are saying that it's more important is the stress. When you're saying the words correctly with the correct intonation. Sometimes only with the correct intonation, students and people, you can survive in the States. You can communicate in the States even though the grammar is not correct or probably some sounds are not exactly that's the standard. Here I have no native speakers anymore. What is that non-native speakers anymore? Well, guys, remember in this 21st century I told you before, we need to teach our students to be able to survive and to speak with any speaker, not only in America. So we need to expose the students to all kind of accents. Chinese accent, Mexican accent, Indian accent.
Multicultural.
Right? Yes, sorry?
That we have multicultural classes.
Yes, that's right. Okay. Well, guys, I don't know what time is it? 5 to 5. So it's over the workshop.
No, at 5:05.
5:05, you
Okay.
still have 10 minutes.
I have 10 minutes
Yes.
to finish. Oh my God. Okay. I feel like in a hurry. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna go deep on the errors, the mistakes, how to handle errors. Okay. That will be the lesson. So here we have learners' errors should be corrected as soon as they are made in order to prevent the formation of bad habits. Agree or disagree? Agree.
I think it depends on the error also.
What kind of error are we talking about?
Yeah.
Sorry?
The he, and then they're talking about a female. saying
Yes,
he,
and that would change
you know,
everything.
just,
I
I don't know.
Funds for
Okay.
superior in teaching classes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, guys, so here it comes. Look. Errors, well, here, the spelling errors are a natural part of language learning. Guys, what happens here? I don't know, guys, if you feel identified with me, but with my students, especially adults, they said, teacher, I don't want to study English anymore. Why not? Come on, we're doing a good job. I have a lot of mistakes. So, no, I'm not good at learning English. And I said, no, there is a problem here. Errors are good. Why? Because errors or mistakes, they are like they are showing me that you are learning. Guys, for example, you have a student in the first level and he said, teacher, chi no work. And you say, hey, not correct. And the student, oh my God. No, that's pretty good. That's pretty good because the student said chi. The student didn't say he.